of my childhood heroes was Mr. Rogers. I love Mr. Rogers so much. I want to tell you a little bit of history on the man Fred Rogers. He was a minister first for a very long time, and he decided to go into full-time ministry. That's where he was going to dedicate his life. At that time, TV had become invented and came out, and Mr. Rogers had seen this TV as an opportunity to speak into children's lives, because that was his heart, to help children, to strengthen their confidence and tell them that they are just fine the way they are, that he likes them just the way that they are. And when Mr. Rogers saw TV, he saw a society that was very against TV. Like, TV would make you blind if you sit too close to it. They would rot your brain and hypnotize you. And it's a lot of what we hear in regards to what happens when we're dug into our phones and watching social media. Of course, there is an extreme radicalism to pretty much anything. You can get too much of anything, but as long as you're using the tools for the right thing, you can get a lot of good out of them, and Mr. Rogers saw that in TV. So instead of going into the ministry, he decided to use TV as a tool to communicate to kids and to strengthen their self-esteem and make them feel valuable. I had my friend Gabrielle Lewis. She has painted this for me. One time I was thinking to myself, thinking of that story, I was thinking, if Mr. Rogers was alive today, what would he be doing? What would he do? And I believe he would be doing this. So I asked Gabrielle, I said, Gabrielle, would you please paint me a painting of Mr. Rogers holding a phone, taking a selfie video with Daniel Tiger and King Friday and Trolley, because if he were alive today, he would be doing exactly this. Putting a phone in his face with his puppets and his trolley and his whole Mr. Rogers neighborhood, and he'd be displaying it on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, TikTok. You know Mr. Rogers would be a huge TikToker, and he would be deploying that content on so many different things. So I'm asking you, is there something that you're trying to do? Is there something that you're trying to communicate and impart into the world? Well, make sure you're doing it and giving the tools that are given to you. And you don't have to do it, but if you are a business and you're out there, you're trying to make things happen, it's a very good opportunity for you to take an example and a lesson from Mr. Rogers and do what he did. Kind of shift, pivot, and change and start deploying that message and where people are actually listening. So, I hope you had a good time listening, and I'll see you on the internet.